So why should we study marketing? Well, because if you didn't, I would have no job. And I think that's an important motivation. Because you can see what a sympathetic figure I am, and you would hate for me to be poorer than I am. So one is we live in a consumer culture. And for many people, shopping is not just creating transactions, but shopping is a social activity. Back at the dot-com boom and bust in the early part of this century, there were people talking about the demise of retailing, because why would anybody ever get out of their house and go to a store when they can get it online cheaper and have it delivered to their home? And the answer is shopping is more than transactions. Shopping is the discovery, the thrill of the hunt, and a social experience. It's a chance to meet people, see new ideas. The other issue is that in a consumer culture, products confer status. And this is one of my favorite paradoxes about marketing, because you have people, and you probably know people, who are anti-consumer culture, right? Vehemently, I reject the consumer culture. And how do they reject the consumer culture? By the things that they buy, right? I don't buy manufactured product. I buy recycled, used, vintage products. I am rejecting the consumer culture. And social benefits, right? It's all about the used goods are just as utilitarian as the new goods, but the difference is the social consumption factor. As I'm, shade-grown hemp, it tells me that, again, so the idea is that even in a consumer culture, people who reject the consumer culture make that rejection through the consumption choices that they make. You can't escape it. And also, it's part of the way it's working. We have products inspire social trends, and social trends inspire products. We've got the pussy hats right now, right? Why do we have pussy hats? The social trend inspired the pussy hats, and just these things go back and forth, so that the idea of a political statement is embodied in the products that we buy or make. Also, marketing is entertainment. I have here NASCAR, which is one of the most popular sports in America, and Little Debbie is the sponsor. Little Debbie are those little snack cakes that you put in kids' lunches so that they'll have diabetes when they get older. Sponsoring a NASCAR is just part of our culture. And is that a sporting event, or is that a moving advertisement? Kind of blurring the lines. There's a comedy group that I love to listen to. I don't know if they're still alive. Did I mention I'm old? Out of Indianapolis, called Bob and Tom, a comedy group. And they used to do a comedy routine about how in sports, you've really made it to the big time when your major sponsor is a beer. And the idea is that, again, even with our clubs, groups, and organizations, we all talk about corporate sponsorship and the kind of partnerships that we can have, and the quality and the level of our partnerships are an indication of the success of our league, right? The little leagues that got the shirts, that's all part of our culture. Lastly, and certainly the least important, is marketing affects your business. Every business needs marketing. If you don't have customers, you have no business, and somebody in that business has to be in the business of understanding customers. In the tech world, marketing many times has a bad reputation about people who can't do math and are all about color selection. But the reality is, even though they reject marketing, they have marketing. They just don't call it marketing. But somebody's out there understanding what customers want, working with customers, doing the selling, getting the products into customers' hands. We just don't call it that. Even if you're a one-man shop, right? And I'm the janitor, I'm the CEO, I'm the service person. Somebody has to think about what it is that we're doing. How do we create happy customers? So every business needs to have marketing. And if you are going to go into a marketing-related role, obviously it's important for you to understand. Even if you aren't going into a marketing-related role, recognize everything that we do in a company is intended to create happy customers. So understanding how we create happy customers can make you a more effective accountant, make you a more effective chief financial officer, can make you more effective shop floor manager. And then marketing affects your life. What we're talking about is marketing in a business context, but the reality is marketing is just how human beings make decisions, how human beings think. We talked early on about the distinction between wants and needs, where a need is a basic fundamental psychological state where we have a difference between desired and actual, and marketing just helps us relieve that tension between what we want and what we don't have. But it applies to more than just business. It's the way that we live. So in your career, is creating need-satisfying offerings to an employer. You are the product, right? You want them to see the benefit in what you have. And then as you advance in your career, get them to recognize the value of what you're contributing when it comes to talk about raises and promotions. And ultimately, relationships. I always hesitate to ask this question because apparently the business world does not want to reproduce. But is there anybody in this room that eventually would like to be in a long-term relationship with a romantic partner? Okay, 4 of you. The rest of you are finance officers. Relationships are marketing, right? Is creating a product that would be satisfying to the customer, right? Identifying target markets, right? Communicating the effective value proposition, right? Okay. So again, so we talk about this in business, but the basic fundamental actions that we go through in marketing are human decision-making, human needs, and they apply to life, not just to business. So that's all I got to talk about today. Next time we'll start talking about consumers.